Christ, I feel like I'm interviewing for an internship. Okay, I'm Felix Montgomery. I'm your younger brother. I'm currently in college, sophomore in college, studying classical languages. Personality traits, I guess I'm naturally somewhat inquisitive, I hope, but perhaps a bit shyer than usual. I like to get to know people though, so that's always cool.
Did you ever download social media? Did you ever use social media?
Not really. I do have Facebook in terms of actually using Facebook to post things or to read other people's posts. That is so inconsequential and so unsubstantial in regards to my time. As for any other social media, no.
Why do you think you were never really interested in it?
A lot of people talk to me about the pain that social media is. They've always complained to me that it's a waste of time, that they often feel invalidated by social media, that they're made to feel unconfident or sort of feel down about their own bodies. I've always never really liked technology that greatly. I find that using my phone a lot strains my eyes, that it kind of makes me feel dizzy just to be on social media or to be using a lot of technology all the time. And on top of that, I've always thought to myself that the most important part of any friendship, real physical connections. I've always enjoyed talking to people in person.
Some people would say social media is a tool to enable relationship because they are connected to so many different people, they don't lose touch. Do you ever feel like social media, not having social media, I should say, prevents you from doing that?
Yeah, I would definitely say that. It definitely does limit the number of social contacts that you have. It is harder to stay in contact with, people who are formerly friends. But on the one hand, while I treasured those friendships then, I also think that a part of life is meeting new people and forming new social contacts. But that doesn't mean you've got to disregard those friendships, Once you do have the time, yeah, you can still meet them. If your friendship was strong enough from beforehand, then I don't see why you can't send them a text out of the blue and be like, hey, haven't talked to you in a long while, you want to meet up? And if anything, I think that by not having social media, it kind of gives a certain excitement when you guys do meet up, because then you have all those different stories that you have no idea about.
Bring up an interesting point that I think happens a lot in the current dating world. And if a friend is trying to set you up with another person, they're like, okay, so this is their Twitter profile, this is their Instagram profile, and you can essentially stalk them, right? So this person you've never met before, now suddenly you know when their birthday is, what their favorite color is. So it's actually quite rare to meet someone who you know nothing about. Have you ever had that kind of experience where you've met someone for the first time and you knew nothing about them because you weren't on social media?
I mean, yeah, for sure. It's definitely more awkward, I think, to meet people in college when you don't know anything about them. It's definitely harder to break the ice because you don't have that kind of input coming in. But with that being said, if you share enough time with that person, then I think you can get to know them just as well as any other friendship.
As you have lived through, and as the rest of the world has lived through, we're coming to just a little over a year since the pandemic has gripped the world. And with the pandemic, a lot more people have been online, either downloading new social media apps or just more frequently online. Did you find yourself more eager to download social media, or did you find yourself shying away from your phone more? How was your relationship with technology during the pandemic?
I don't know. On the one hand, technology has come to consume my life in many different ways. Zoom, in order to attend any of my classes, it's inescapable, and it's here to stay. In many ways, it has been beneficial for me. I've been able to still participate in a Taekwondo club at Brown, which has been a real godsend for me. It's definitely allowed me to keep a lot of my sort of friendly social contact. That being said, though, I definitely think that one of the sort of tragedies of the pandemic is that people have started to view social media as a replacement for real physical interaction. I would never encourage anyone to take unsafe risks. But at the end of the day, we humans, we people, are very social animals. And we need that kind of in-person social interaction.
Do you ever feel like you're missing out by not having social media?
Yeah, of course. I do think that I, as a person, do miss out on some of those social interactions with culture as a whole. You know, terminology, internet culture, you know, something that a lot of my friends are interacting with. You know, I'll hang out with them and I'll just have no fucking clue what's going on.
What do you do when you have no idea what your friends are referring to from internet culture?
I mean, I'll just ask them, you know, like, what are you guys talking about? You know, and they know who I am and they know what I'm like. So they're like, oh, you know, it's this. Or alternatively, I'll just like nod and laugh and pretend I know.
Have you ever felt pressure to download social media?
Oh yeah, of course. Of course. Friends, family. Oh, you know, we would be such better friends if, you know, you had this XYZ social media app because we'd be able to talk more.
Because you don't have social media, what do you feel like you have more time to do?
Recently, I've realized that I've spent a lot of time just talking to the people around me, so that's my parents. Like an hour here, an hour there. I feel like an old person sometimes because I'm just basically gossiping with mom. I've had time to translate Hashire Merosu from Japanese into English this semester. I also have more time to work out and to do the clubs that I enjoy. 12 hours a week of working out. And then beyond that, I also have a pretty solid sleep schedule. I always manage to get at least 7 hours of sleep a night, usually 7.5. On the weekends, that number usually goes up to 8-9 hours of sleep. So basically, what it boils down to is I don't have a lot of social interaction, but I do have a very healthy lifestyle.
Also, social media recently has been used as a form of news, or at least a news outlet. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you personally consume news?
Yeah, there is a lot of news on social media. That is how a lot of young people are interacting with news, with current events. And part of me is kind of torn about that. It's engagement. You know, it's getting young people worked up about popular issues, real issues that are affecting societies, and that's something to be commended. You know, the more people are aware of social issues in this country, the better. But that being said, I also think that social media does a poor job of educating people because it oftentimes presents such a biased view. You know, if you're just swiping through a Snapchat story, that doesn't tell you nearly enough about those issues. I try to get my information from Reuters and from The Economist, like the New York Times or The Guardian.
I just wanted to ask you a last question. Do you miss me?
Yeah, of course.
Do you miss talking to someone who is closer to your age than mom and dad?
Oh yeah, of course, I do miss that. Like, I haven't had anyone to talk to about that new Lil Nas X song. But otherwise, nah, it's been chill.